Hey everyone and welcome to the channel. Barbecue chicken is a favourite no matter where in the world you come from, but the Chinese char siu is up there with one of my all-time favourites. So today, we're going to be working on my take on this Chinese classic. If that sounds like something you're into, hang around to see how this one turns out. As always, a full list of ingredients can be found at the end of the video. They'll also be listed below. We're going to start this one off by marinating our chicken. Into our mixing bowl goes our hoisin, soy sauce, honey, Shaoxing cooking wine, oyster sauce, Chinese 5-spice powder, a little seasoning of salt and ground white pepper, 2 minced garlic cloves, and for that traditional colour, a little red food dye. Now in ancient Chinese times, pillar box red was the only red colouring used in char siu. Any other red food dye was considered to be a crime punishable by death, so we won't be breaking that tradition today. Give it all a mix, and we can pop in our boneless, skinless chicken thighs. This recipe would probably be better with skin on thighs, but for some reason I couldn't get any locally without having to buy whole chickens, so skinless will have to do. Now with the marinating time, I'm usually pretty flexible with the marinated as long as you can be bothered kind of thing. But for this one, leaving it for a long time is really going to make the difference, so I'm starting this one the day before. Give them a mix around and these can get wrapped with a little Glad wrap and into the fridge overnight. Now it's the next day and our chicken is looking like that marinade has done its thing.
What can I say? I like the way you're put together.
So I'll lay all the chicken pieces out on a cake rack over a tray, trying to keep a little space around them. We want to keep the marinade aside as we're going to build up a few layers of that delicious char siu goodness, so don't chuck it away just yet. And into a preheated 200 degrees Celsius or 450 degree Fahrenheit oven for about 25 minutes. While the chicken is cooking, let's get onto the sides. I'll start by grabbing another roasting tray and getting my bok choy in. All I've done to these is cut them down to a similar size and given them a really good wash to make sure there isn't any dirt around the bases. With them in the tray, I'll hit them with a little sesame oil and season them with salt. Then to keep this flavour going, I'll spoon over a little of that char siu marinade from before. Don't worry that this has had raw chicken in it. The temperature inside the oven will cook any chicken left over in the marinade, making it 100% safe to eat. When it comes to cooking bok choy in the oven, we want to make sure it doesn't get too overcooked. It will really quickly turn into a mushy mess if we do, so it pays to check on them from time to time. And these can go into the oven with our chicken for about 10 to 15 minutes. Before knocking out these noodles, I'll check on the chicken, and that's looking pretty damn fine, so I'll give it a baste and pop it back in to finish off. The noodles I'm making to go with this one are really simple, but also pretty different than the noodles you're used to. I'll start by roughly chopping a good pile of garlic, and I can move over to the stove. Into a pan on medium heat goes a good chunk of butter, followed by the chopped garlic. I'll give this one a bit of a sizzle until it's looking nice and soft. While it's cooking away, I'll add the noodles to the pot of boiling water. We only want to cook these ones for about 90 seconds, as I'll get a bit more cooking time in the pan. Into the butter mixture goes some dark soy and fish sauce. Now I know it looks a little weird with the butter, soy and fish sauce, but the butter is going to add a beautiful glossiness to the noodles. Speaking of which, these are cooked and can go into the pan. But what's going to take these to the next level is the next ingredient, Parmesan cheese.
How much cheese is too much cheese?
The thinking here is that the soy, fish sauce and Parmesan are all really high in natural MSG and have that amazing umami factor. And if you think about it, they all kind of have a similar flavour profile in a weird way. I'll loosen it up with a splash of the starchy noodle water, give it a good mix until it's all combined. And these are looking ready to go. And time's up on the chicken. I can smell them already, so I'll grab them from the oven and leave them to rest for a few minutes. The bok choy is also looking spot on, so let's get this finished off. Onto the plate goes a little mound of noodles, followed by some bok choy, and we can crown this one with one of those perfect looking chicken thighs. A scatter of spring onions, a few slices of red chili, and this one's ready to go. I love this chicken. It has great depth of flavour without being too over the top. You can see here that marinade has lightly penetrated the surface, especially into those nooks and crannies around the darker section of the thigh. Combine it with those noodles, that bok choy, and you have yourself a delicious plate of food. As a little note, this recipe scales really well, and it also reheats great. It's a really good one for meal prepping if you get into that kind of thing. Is that something I should explore more in videos? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video, everyone. If you liked it, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. See you on the next one!